Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is Finn Nicolas. How are you, Finn?
I'm doing great, Tristan. Really happy to be here.
Good, me too. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy you're here too. So you and I met at the Classic, the
Yes.
Comedy club here in Auckland, and you have been doing comedy there for a few years, yeah?
I started January 2016, and then
wow.
I took several long breaks when I had to quit for my own sanity.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love to hear a little bit more about that.
Well, there was a period. I don't know if you've ever had this. There's a period where I stopped being funny, and I just started doing comedy about how sad I was, which to me was really funny, and to the audience was unpleasant. And then when they didn't laugh at it, I took it as a personal attack and would get mad at them. So like that sort of thing. There was a gig that I did years ago, probably in 2018, about the time that I quit for the first time, when I just
Real Hannah Gadsby type.
Yeah, well, I remember the gig ended with me lying on the stage with my feet up on the wall, my head hanging off the stage, hitting myself in the head with a microphone, just like
Yeah.
and then after it, I was like, I think maybe this is bad for me.
Number one, very funny story. Very good of you to know to take a break. I feel like a lot of stand-up comics try to just like push through that, and
Yes.
it ends badly.
It does, and I was determined not to be one of those.
Well, good. I'm good on you, knowing your limits and knowing when to take a break. But now you're back at it, and you did a very good
yes.
set, and you should be, happy, I guess, or
Yeah,
whatever.
no,
How are you doing now?
Yeah, I'm currently very happy with how comedy is going, and I'm feeling funny, and yeah, it's good. It's a thing where like when comedy is going well, it is the best feeling in the world. There is really, I think, nothing better than it.
Yeah, true. I agree. And like I do understand what you mean when you're like, oh God, when you're just like not funny. Because like I've definitely had moments where I'm like, I don't even know how to write a Tristan Miller style joke at the moment. Like,
Sure, yeah.
what observations? I'm just like, what am I just like so zoned out that I don't know what to do? But one must soldier on and or reroute.
Yeah. I think during one of the hiatuses I took, I was like, okay, what is a joke that I would like to tell? Because there's nothing that feels like good. Like it all feels false when I'm talking about it on stage, and I'd had a dream where I dreamed the entire plot of a like early 50s noir film. And I was like, I'm just gonna go on stage and spend 10 minutes recounting this noir that I dreamed, and then I did one set of that, and I thought, okay, what was the purpose of that for me, and what was the purpose of because like I kind of enjoyed saying it, but I knew they weren't going to enjoy that. none of these people who came out to comedy at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night have the appropriate grounding in 50s B noirs for to have any enjoyment in this.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's fair. Yeah, man. Oh, that's so funny. Also just the recounting a dream on stage.
I
Oof,
know
oof,
it's
oof, boo.
but I
Like,
was like, this has like a real plot to it. The stream was like a very specific plot, so it was less like, yeah, that's how I justified it anyway.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course, it is what it is. You try and you have a go and you see how it
yeah.
goes. It's all good. But you're feeling good about it now, which is great. You're also a big movie buff.
I am, yes.
What's a film recently that you've seen that you'd recommend to everybody?
Uh, I think that and I mean it's been like a slow year for for movies so far. So I'm going to go with an older thing that I
Hmm.
watched on Blu-ray recently. Uh, from the I think in 1933, a movie by Ernst Lubitsch called Broken Lullaby. Like
Okay.
he's like Ernst Lubitsch, is like most famous these days for Shop Around the Corner, which became the inspiration for You've Got Mail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was started off in like silent movies, and then yeah went to like American studio comedies, and he's like famed for his like very like light touch with these like incredibly funny romantic comedies. But in the early 30s, he made this like post World War I anti-war melodrama about a French soldier who can't live with the guilt of this German soldier that he killed in the war. So
Mm.
he goes to that man's town to like apologize to his family, and then ends up falling in love with the dead man's fiance, and it's it's astounding. It is
That
what it is so beautiful and like really like truly like yeah, like a like it is a true anti-war film, and it's a really beautiful movie.
great. What is it called again?
It's called Broken Lullaby.
Broken Lullaby. All right. What's a film that you've seen recently that you would not recommend?
Okay, this okay, so I've got like three sort of ongoing movie watching projects this year.
All right.
One is Martial Arts Monday. Where every Monday I watch a martial arts movie I've never seen before. I
Okay.
got Western Wednesday, where every Wednesday I watch a Western I've never seen before. And then every Saturday I do Silent Saturday, where I watch a silent movie I've never seen before. And so
Wow, you love the movies.
I really do. Yeah, so today is a Wednesday, and I just finished watching a a not even B like a C or D Western from 1938 called Two Gun Man from Harlem, which is a like yeah it's a incredibly like cheaply made Western with an all black cast. It's
Hmm.
in the like singing cowboys or like Roy Rogers mold,
Hmm.
but with no money. And it's actually not it's not terrible, but the only way you can find it is on YouTube in like 12th generation VHS rips, and so it is just not watchable to anyone other than me.
So,
The
so you're not criticizing the quality of the film, but the quality of the film.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you're a person who's really into like poverty row westerns of the 30s and 40s, give this a shot. But otherwise, don't bother.
Uh, that's so funny. That's very good. Very good answer. Do you remember what's your first memory in the cinema?
Uh, uh, I Yeah, the first movie I remember seeing in the movie theater
Mm.
was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets,
Oh,
and I was seeing it with my mum and my little sister. I would have been, what was that like 2003?
yeah, I think.
Yeah, I would have been 6 years old when that came out,
Oh,
and
that's a bit advanced for a 6-year-old.
yeah, I guess there was nothing else to do that day, And yes, so my mum took me and my little sister to the theater, and the only thing I remember from that first viewing is the scene in the woods where the spiders are like jumping at the giant
Hmm.
spiders jumping at the camera, and my mum ducking out of the way like one of those French people in the 1800s thought the train was going to come out of the screen. And I'm so scared of spiders. Like there are times in my life where I've just had like full body like paralysis from seeing a spider, but I remember being like, "Mum, it's a fake spider."
So the fear of the spiders was before this. This was not the cause of this
No, no,
fears. Okay,
yeah, but yeah,
that's
for
funny.
some reason, fake spiders never bothered me. But
Well,
like,
because you know they're not real. You're a
yeah,
discerning human being.
yeah, but like, I don't know. I watch a movie with like a fake serial killer. I can be scared by that serial killer, and
Huh, interesting.
I'm way more scared of spiders than I am of serial killers.
They are far more like us.
Yes.
Um, I will say as well, there's that like John Carpenter interview that gets referenced a lot where it was like, what's the film that scares you the most? And he goes, a movie? Scare me? It's not real. What are you talking about? Which I love so much because that is kind of how I feel
Right,
every
yeah.
time I think about this a lot with horror films because like I'll watch a horror film and very few things will frighten me
Yeah.
about it. But then I was watching Fellowship of the Ring when it was re-released in theaters, and they're like running towards Buckleberry Ferry, and I'm like, I feel like uncomfortable. Like I'm
Sure,
like
yeah.
sweating and
That's a
like
that's a really tense scene.
yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm scared for my friends right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like with horror film, you never get enough time to establish that repertoire, that relationship,
Sure,
we'll say,
yeah.
yeah, with the characters to like then get scared for them. Whereas
Yeah.
like it's mostly like, let's see some fucking sick kills or
I mean,
whatever.
I think that's probably part of why like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is so scary because you do spend the first like 45 minutes just with those people in the car before they
Hmm.
start getting Texas Chainsaw Massacred.
Using that as a verb is very good. I would say as well, vis-a-vis Chamber of Secrets, like it's PG, but it's a
Yeah.
quite scary film
Oh,
for a
sure, yeah.
6-year-old. Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, there's giant snakes, there's all the spiders, there's like a creepy sewer lair. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah. Is that how do they summon Voldemort in that one? It's weird. Even the one with the
it,
first one with him on the back of the head, that's
yeah,
creepy for
it
kids.
is, yeah.
It's like not
In
good.
the second one, it's for like diary, and it's got like the
Oh,
blood
right.
and stuff.
Yeah, you stab it and the blood comes out of the diary.
Yeah,
That's like some Cronenberg shit. Like that's not good to show a kid.
I don't know. I've I I I tried to rewatch I rewatched all of those movies like 4.5, 5 years ago for a Harry Potter quiz that I was going to do with some friends,
Mhm.
and I remember rewatching the first two and just being like, these are so long and so boring. Like they like the second Harry Potter movie is 15 minutes shorter than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and nothing happens in it.
You're not wrong.
And then,
It's really one of those.
and then you get to the third one, and they hire a proper director, and you're like, holy shit, this just came alive.
Yeah, yeah. Chris Columbus, God bless him. But here's the thing. I will say this. I'm not a big. I grew up very conservative growing up, so I
Oh
was
yeah,
not allowed to read or watch the Harry Potter films when they came out.
right, yeah,
But having since seen and read them, my favorite is that first book. Like, there's something
okay,
really special about that first movie and that first book, and maybe it's just because like I also like A New Hope the best.
mm,
It's like there's that call to.
hmm.
Whereas like I think Azkaban is objectively like a better film,
Sure, yeah.
but do I enjoy it as much? No, I want to
You
see a
like to see
kid
them
go,
playing
"What the
chess?
fuck is this?"
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have a go-to movie snack when you go to the cinema?
Well, so I go to the movies too much for it to be financially viable to have a consistent
Mm-hmm.
snack. But you know, I truly think you can't. I truly think for a movie you can't really do better than popcorn. It is
Yeah.
kind of incredible. But I'll often sneak in a bag of licorice all sorts.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. You know, during the New Zealand Film Festival every year when I'm seeing like 50 to 70 movies in a 2 week stretch, I just cannot afford to buy like movie theater food. So because I'm spending $1,000 on movie tickets, so
Mm-hmm.
I will like I've I did this once last year, and I felt really bad doing it. But I was like, I'm going to be out of the house all day. I'm going to be seeing 6 movies today. I need to keep my energy up. I hard boiled some eggs before I left the house and brought them and brought them to the movie theater wrapped up, and then just like tried to eat these hard boiled eggs in a way that would bother as few people as possible.
Absolutely.
No, no,
Pun intended. That's so funny.
it's insane to me to do, but I had to keep my
But
protein up.
here's the thing, listen, good call. You're being conscientious. I would say eating them in the lobby makes the most sense. But then you're also getting people looking at you
Well,
eating, which is kind
exactly,
of,
yeah.
"Ugh."
But
But the
I will say I'd removed the shells at home. They're
oh,
wrapped in plastic.
of course,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
I'm not a monster.
It's giving Always Sunny in two ways. Because there's that sequence where Charlie eats spaghetti out of a bag, I believe. And then there's also May I offer you an egg in this trying time. And it's
Right,
like,
yes, yeah.
but yeah, that's so good. So you heard it here, folks. Go bring an egg into the theater. It'll be normal and fine. Um, so I have some movie trivia for you next, if you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
First question is, what is movie?
Okay, now this is a tough one.
Okay.
I I as you know, I have multiple degrees in film studies, and I'm going to say I still don't really know what movie is.
That's what high education does
Yeah,
to you, folks. It
yes.
makes you go, what is anything?
Well, I mean, like there's the quote from Jean-Luc Godard where he says like photography is truth, cinema is truth 24 times a second, which is like that sounds good, but
Yeah.
also like how seriously should we take anything that guy said? He'd love to fuck with people. But I mean,
Fair enough.
I think a thing that I always come back to, which feels kind of they feel kind of limiting because obviously like cutting isn't the sole like arbiter of what cinema is, but like something that I really love about cinema that no other art form has is that like idea of montage, is being able to take like one
Mm,
image and juxtapose it next to another image and create like an entirely new like feeling and association that like neither of the images have individually. I I think like it's like cinema and poetry are really the only two things that can do that. And
mm.
it's something that I think about a lot. Is like that to me is what like kind of defines the magic of cinema. Is like yeah, you have two images which seem unrelated, and then when you combine them, you create a like an entirely new thing.
That's really cool. Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. Um, that's great. Um, Next question is, what country should replace the United States as top dog for films? This is a very American centric question,
Yeah,
but we do pump out a lot of movies.
you do, and like I spend a lot of time thinking about American cultural imperialism, and
Mm-hmm.
and
You're
and
welcome.
thank you, and like how how to not partake in it as much as possible, but also every time like a new like every time like a new Michael Bay movie comes out, I'm like I should go see that fucking Michael Bay movie. I should go see Ambulance again, you know.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I think America has been the top dog for so
Mhm.
long for a reason.
Yeah,
But
we're declining pretty quick. It's
yes,
not going so
yes.
hot.
But I mean,
All Holly weird.
I I think you know, I think Japan has a really incredible cinema tradition that
Mm.
over the last couple of years I've been spending a lot of money on boutique Blu-ray reissues of like 1970s Japanese exploitation movies,
Hell yeah, dude.
and the like level of just like fury and artistry that people were putting into those movies at that time. I was like, this is like kind of like the best stuff that anyone's ever done. But yeah, yeah, I think Japan has really grown. I think obviously China is gonna like is gonna
Yeah.
take over eventually in terms of
Yeah.
film. There's actually a bunch of like really good a bunch of really good there's actually a bunch of really good Chinese direct to video action movies that are being made at the moment. Uh,
Sick.
and that's been America's game for a very long time, and now China
Oh yeah.
is now China is like making that stuff at a really like high level of craft. And I always feel bad that I don't watch enough Indian movies. You know, like
Mm.
they make so many movies there, and I'll see like one or two a year that come out in the movie theater. I'm like, yeah, it was great. I had a really great time, and then I was like that all those industries are like so dense with like history and like and artists, and like I don't know where to start, you know,
Oh
like
sure, yeah.
and so yeah, so I just like I watch a movie, I enjoy it, and I'm like, well, I'll see another Indian movie sometime in the next few years, and it'll probably be really good as well.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. I think that like the easiest entry point, at least for me, when it comes to that sort of thing, is like I'll fall in love with an actor and then
Yes,
just
yeah.
find everything they've been in. Or conversely a director. But I think the China thing is very apt and true. There's a great book that I would recommend if you have not read it already, knowing you, is called Red Carpet, which is about the United States relationship to China in filmmaking
Okay.
and how basically them trying to court Chinese markets is why there's no all Marvel movies feel the same now
Right, yes, yeah.
and that sort of thing because they're appealing to that market because they got a little taste. And it's why there are famous Chinese people in Rogue One because
Yeah.
they were like, "Hey, Donnie Yen's here.
Yeah,
You want to see him?" And they're like, "Not really. We don't really get this culturally. It's not our bag, but go off."
yeah, yes,
So
you know, like Star Star Wars has like never really worked in China, right? They've like
no,
tried
it's
a bunch of
because they're
times, it's
like,
never
why are
hit.
people
Yeah.
fighting against the state? This doesn't make any sense, you know? It's just like culturally doesn't work and we gotta just stop it, you know? Whereas like weirdly Captain America, they love.
Okay,
They
right.
love like, yes, government man,
Hmm.
you know.
Well,
But
is it isn't isn't Avatar also huge in China?
oh baby,
Yeah,
you better believe it. Yeah. Jim Cameron, you can say a lot of things about him.
sure.
Motherfucker knows what he's doing.
Yeah, currently trying to ruin Wellington. Very talented filmmaker.
Yes, yes. God, Aliens is just so fucking good. Is the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm one of the few people. Well, no, I'm sure for a lot of us, but like when I went and saw The Way of Water in movie theaters, and it was like in the IMAX and 3D and the high frame rate,
mhm.
I was like, yeah, like you can say you can criticize him on absolutely any level, and you're probably right. But right now, in this moment, I don't remember the last time a movie made me feel like this.
Yeah, fair enough. I did not see Way of Water in the theater. I should have,
It, he he
but
he basically just abandons the idea of plot for most of it, and people just hang
hell
out
yeah.
underwater, and there's space whales, and it's great.
Ugh, that sounds fantastic, actually. I love that. Um, what book should never be turned into a film? And please do not say the Bible or the dictionary.
Okay.
Because those are two really good joke answers, but they've been done a fair amount.
And I mean, and yeah, I mean, they made a lot of movies of the Bible.
They have indeed, actually,
Pro-
yes. Prince of Egypt does slap, is my main my main rebuttal to that. It's probably one of the best animated features of all time, but you know.
what book should I never make into a... I don't know. I I hate that the first thing I'm going to is a young adult fantasy thing, but I remember like 10 or 12 years ago when it was announced that there was going to be a movie of the Skullduggery Pleasant series, starring Johnny Depp, and I was like,
Oh
well,
boy.
that's gonna be the worst thing of all time. But I don't know. I think that like I think you could adapt pretty much any book. I think what one a movie I was really excited about a few years ago, and then absolutely didn't work for me. What was when Noah Baumbach did his adaptation of White Noise by Don DeLillo, and
Mm.
I think White Noise is I think one of the best books ever written. It's so funny, and it's like it is so incisive about capitalism and consumerism and academia, and it, it's it's such a masterwork, and I love Noah Baumbach. I love I love Adam Driver. I love Greta Gerwig who's in it, and then it just didn't work. And I think a big part of it is like that, like his dialogue is meant to be read. It is not meant to be
Mm.
spoken,
Sure, yeah.
and like his like yeah, I think Don DeLillo is one of the great writers of dialogue, and I think it really it doesn't make sense when you hear it coming out of people's mouths. It
Yeah.
loses some of the magic.
That absolutely makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like, there's that famous thing from the Star Wars cast. You can type this shit, but you can't say it, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, that is a really good call. What director is the best actor, do you think? And I can't be an actor turned director, you know?
Oh, okay. I mean, so
Because, like,
yeah, so I mean, my this doesn't count then, but my favorite director and my favorite actor is Orson Welles,
oh,
and
okay, yeah, that's great.
but yeah, he was an actor first, but
It's true. And you could fucking tell.
oh yeah, he
I was fed up a clip of him doing Falstaff recently.
in the Chimes at Midnight.
In doing like he was doing like some he was promoting some version of the Henry, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
then he was doing like I think on a like the Ed Sullivan show, and he was
Okay.
like putting on the makeup and then
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
do the transformation, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm seeing how this is done, and then by the end of it, you're like, where the fuck did Orson go?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, he's incredible, and like at that point, the first time he played Falstaff was in like 1937,
Oh
and
wow.
it was in a he did a play called Five Kings, which was a like legendary debacle where he tried to take like 7 or 8 Shakespeare plays and condense them into one like 5 hour long play, and he was going to play Falstaff in it, and it never really got out of previews because they could never make it work.
Mm.
But all the reviews were like, "This is a disaster. This doesn't work." Austin like 22-year old Austin Wells as Falstaff is one of the most incredible things you'll ever see. And yeah, I mean, and the mid to late 50s, early 60s. He he finally got to make his Falstaff movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I think I think the answer might be Martin Scorsese.
He is
I
very
mean he is I think he's a genuinely incredible actor, and I mean they feel like two major scenes in his own films are like him in the taxi in Taxi Driver,
of course.
which apparently like he didn't even want to do. It was just like they had another guy booked for that, and he didn't show up that day, so Marty was like, I guess I'll do it then. And he
Yeah.
gives such a intensely like chilling like evil performance, and then
Yeah.
him in that second to last scene of Killers of a Flower Moon
Yeah.
is like I think that might be my favorite scene in his entire filmography.
Hmm.
I saw that like 2 or 3 times in the theater, just absolutely destroyed me every time. I think he is yeah such a talented actor, and
Yeah, I
yeah.
think. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean like yeah, and there's like a bunch of stuff of his that I haven't even seen yet. Like he was in like one of Akira Kurosawa's last movies. He plays Vincent Van
Yes.
Gogh in it, and I
Hmm.
need to see that. I mean, he's in that show The Studio, which is on right now, which he's
Hmm.
apparently really funny in.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd be my answer.
That's a very good answer. There's a little snippet of like Seth Rogen,
Hmm.
with the studio. He's like, okay, fuck. Okay, fuck, man. Like that's Martin Scorsese. And he at a certain point, like they're about to break for lunch or whatever, he goes, okay, Marty, what did we do wrong? And he goes, I wasn't going to say anything, but this is where I would have put the camera. And, you know,
Yeah,
but,
yes, yeah.
you're doing your job, I'm doing mine. Um, he's also in a really good, I don't know if you've seen his American Express commercial.
Uh, maybe is that the one where he's buying the film?
Yeah, and he goes,
Yes,
because
yeah.
he's getting got his film
Yes, yeah, see,
developed. He goes,
it's
for his like nephew's birthday or whatever. It's
yeah.
really funny. He's really good.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent answer.
I always, always love anytime he shows up in one of his daughter's TikToks. He's
Oh yeah,
just such a great presence.
yeah. It had such a oh, when he was promoting Killers of the Flower Moon, which is I think my favorite film of his that I've seen.
Yes, yeah. No,
I
it's my
think
favorite as well.
I think it's far and away his like masterpiece. I
Yes.
don't think it's gonna get much better than that. But it also is like something that requires you be familiar with all the other stuff he kind of like
Yeah,
not like super familiar, but like he's like, oh, he makes gangster comedies, but in this context, these people are terrible, and so you can't laugh with them.
yeah,
Like it's this weird sort of ooh, and Lily Gladstone, they're so good.
yeah,
Oh my God. But when he was doing press for that, he was like, my whole life I was told it goes quick and I never understood it. And now I do. I have so many ideas and I'm not going to get them.
mm,
And that is just like heartbreaking to
yeah.
go, wow, okay, fuck.
Yeah, like
You know?
that was like the same thing that yeah, that was like the same thing that Akira Kurosawa said around the same time when I think maybe when he got like his like honorary Oscar or something,
Hmm.
he gave a speech where it was just like, it's like in his 80s and it's like I I'm only just beginning to understand the possibilities of the medium of cinema and yeah, it's like
Yeah. I think Marty like quoted that. He's like,
right,
I
yes.
didn't think I understood. Now I do.
Yeah.
And it's a sad thing, whereas like as well with like David Lynch passing away as well. Like he was working on a few things
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
we're never gonna see. And then also like even like he was receiving an honor from like the Writers Guild um this last year,
Mm.
and he was going to make something for it, and obviously he couldn't because he had passed. And so Kyle MacLachlan presented, and he was like, just imagine what that would have been,
Yeah.
like it would have been incredible. And we're getting to a point where like Marty's getting old.
Mm.
Ford Coppola pumped out probably his last movie, Megalopolis.
Yeah, which I had a really good time with.
I love that movie.
I loved seeing Megalopolis. I was like, there is no one else in the world at the moment who has this much money to make this like weird homage to like to the history of New York and like late 20s silent cinema and just like all the shit he is doing in that is so nuts and
Yeah.
vast swaths
It,
of it. I was like, do not work, but man, the stuff that does work, yeah, it's just so beautiful.
in- including the funniest boner joke in
Oh,
the
what?
history of cinema.
Yeah, uh, I could not believe when that happened. I was so delighted.
I think about it all the time. It's so funny.
Yeah,
The
like
fact that it's John
the
Voight too,
and just
like
like killing it. A really great performance by John Voight.
really good, really good. But yeah, they're all like, and then Lucas obviously retired. Like that whole like kind of like Brad. I don't know what, but De Palma's been up to lately. But it
I
feels
think
like that whole swath is like diminishing now.
yeah, I mean yeah, like De Palma had a movie that was like announced a couple of years
Hmm.
ago. It was going to be based on that Ronan Farrow book Catch and Kill about Harvey Weinstein.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
And
feel like he's not the person that should do
well,
that.
but like that's kind of why he's the perfect guy to do that is because
Oh,
he's
of
Brian De
course.
Palma.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, it's like yeah, the most incredibly inappropriate guy to make the Harvey Weinstein movie, and it's like that's kind of why he's got to do it. And then I think everyone else in Hollywood was like, oh yeah, we can't let this happen.
yes.
But yeah, I would have loved to have seen how strange that was.
That's so funny. Um, I have one final trivia question in quotes, which is, of course, why is Austin Powers so sexy?
Why?
You know,
Yeah. So okay, so I've seen the last half of Goldmember, and that's all the Austin Powers I've seen.
Perfect. Please
Yeah.
tell me why you think everyone thinks he's so hot based off of that small
Yeah,
window.
I don't I I I a few of my friends got mad at me on Twitter like a couple of weeks ago because
Because you're
because
still on Twitter?
oh well
Is that why they were
that's a
mad?
big okay well so yeah so I mentioned to someone a while ago that I was still on that I was on Twitter, and yeah, she looked at me like I just sig heiled, and I get it. It's a bad website, but I mean I've been on this since I was 12 years old. I'm not letting
It's
Elon Musk take it from me. And also,
it
she was on Instagram. It's not like that company is much better.
yeah, yeah, true,
But
true.
but yeah. So I posted a thing about Austin Powers where I said. I do think I'm better than people who have seen an Austin Powers movie. I'm not watching that shit. And then a bunch of my friends got
Mm,
mad at me about it. And
as well they should. They're great films.
people seem to really like them. I just, yeah,
That's fine.
that doesn't seem like my thing. But I mean, I
Not
think,
your bag, baby. A
yeah,
reference you don't understand.
no, that's the penis pump thing, right?
Yes, it
Yeah, I know that one. But uh, I think the thing that makes Austin Powers so sexy, and I say this as a man of Greek heritage who is uncontrollably hairy, is
Mhm.
it's for chest hair.
Yeah.
They can't get enough, and you know that's why I'm saying we don't have actors like Elliot Gould anymore. You know, we used to have guys like Elliot Gould or James Caan who just take their shirt off and would look like a werewolf, and
Yeah.
you know that I love that shit. And everyone today is so fucking
Hmm.
scraped smooth, and it's so boring.
Yes. It's not natural.
No, if
Um,
yeah, everyone looks so clean these days.
yeah. I mean, I feel this way about like obviously I don't have the best teeth. I think of like actors with crooked teeth. I'm like, let's get back in
Yes,
there because everyone's like,
absolutely.
you know, fucking Peter Falk was missing an eye, like for
Yeah,
fuck's sake, like, and he's so good. He's such a good
he's incredible.
actor.
Yeah.
It has not, and that adds more character to everything he ever played.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I can get behind that. I recently watched Doctor No at Academy
Mm.
Cinema
Oh yeah,
here.
yeah.
Um, it's a pretty good movie. I'll say this, not as good as Austin Powers, not as funny. Mm-mm. Um, my whole review that I will be publishing on my Substack. Oh, you better believe it's not as funny as Austin Powers and not as fun as Indiana Jones. And what am I? An American. Thank you. But there's that scene obviously where a tarantula is gonna try and bite.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
and they famously had to have it climb up his arm rather than his chest because they
Mm.
could not see it for all the chest hair, which I think is so funny.
Yeah.
Um, are you ready for the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, our random word is hike.
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 Okay. No, in if
Hmm.
there's a in the 54-minute long Poverty Row Western I was watching today, there is a scene where the cowboy main character hitchhikes because he
Mm.
gets framed for a murder. And he has to leave the old west and go out to New York, and he's like standing by the side of the road trying to find a lift, and it feels like it felt like we just cut to a completely different movie because like it's like it's a western that's like set in the 30s, so there's like electricity and stuff. But then yeah, when he's just like standing by the side of the road with a car's going past, he's like, "Hey," it's like this feels bizarre now.
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
And he goes to Harlem and listens to jazz for 2 minutes. It's really good.
That sounds like such a good premise for a film. Um, but hike, to me, I feel like, and obviously I defer to you, hike is like there's I feel like it has to be, or doesn't have to, but what it speaks to me is like obviously people are going on a tramp and something goes wrong.
Sure.
Like,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, like there's some sort of they're like for to I feel like mm, they find kind of something like a bundle of money and that drives
Okay.
them their friend group insane because they're in the middle of this,
All right. So
they're like
yeah.
doing the Te Aroa or whatever, and then they find this thing of money and they're like, what do we do with it? And like eats them all alive, kind of.
Yeah, I think that's I'm sorry to say this, Tristan. That's basically Danny Boyle's first movie.
Oh yeah,
It,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
I'm
you're going to jail for plagiarism now, and I'm really sorry about it. But
Listen. Here's the thing about it. The Lord works in mysterious ways. Well, here's my defense. Can you own an idea? Or are they, much as David Lynch said, floating around for you to pluck out of the air? Or do they
oh,
really go on a hike and find it, or is it?
oh, I
I
think
just
I
knew they found a bag of money because
yeah
that's the same as like Simple Plan. It's like a
yeah.
genre of film.
Yeah. Okay. No. Yeah. We should start applying the sort of 1950s noir sort of thing to this.
So
But
my thing is like the obviously being in New Zealand as we are, I think the thing that would make the unique spin would be they're on one of the great hikes.
yeah.
They find this bag of money. They don't know what to do with it. Then the weather turns bad. They get stuck in one of these cabins, and then
Yeah.
things get
Nice.
tense.
Yeah. I mean, I think yeah. So like yeah. So yeah. I mean, what yeah. So are they doing one of those is it like winter? They're doing one of those like South Island ones that you're going like through glaciers and stuff, or is this more
Ooh.
like a central North Island where it's more like farmland?
I feel like farmland makes more sense as to finding a random bag of money.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and I feel like the thing that could keep them would be like a cyclone hits and they're like rained out essentially.
mm,
Like
yeah,
the water rises, they can't get to where they need to go.
yeah.
Because that often will happen,
Mm,
particularly when you're doing the Te Aroa, which goes from one side, top of the North Island all the way down to the bottom of the South.
mm.
Um, because there's a bunch of like bridges that will
Right.
are like,
Yes. Yeah.
you know. Um, and I think having it be farmland also like raises the question of like, well, this is somebody's money
Yes. Absolutely.
rather than just like if you find money in a glacier, that's your money.
I don't know.
Like,
I think if I found a bag of money on a glacier, I'm instantly terrified. Like something really bad must have happened there for this bag of money to be abandoned in a glacier.
okay, well then then let's put it there.
Okay, in a glacier.
I think I think that also the visual I have is like, normally when you find a bag of money, you like trip over it or whatever, and you're
Yeah,
like, oh my God, this money.
yeah. No, it's
The
just
idea of
just a Jan sport in the middle of just in the middle of white.
exactly for me, I was like, ice, frozen, dollar bills visible out of the bag. And
Yeah.
someone goes, fuck, there's money in this icicle. So I think then they're like up in the mountains in South Island because also that'll make it easier to get funded because
Yeah,
Tourism New
absolutely.
Zealand will pay for half of it. Um, and then having someone who like I think feel like a group of five makes sense.
Yes, yeah. Yeah,
And I
yeah,
feel like
yeah. You can have
one,
you can have like you can have lots of different alliances forming like between the people if you got five.
yeah, and it's not unmanageable. Like
Yes.
if it's like 20. Like I love the thing, but at a certain point, I'm like, who is this motherfucker? I don't remember him. But I feel like one of them should be like, oh, I can see the money. We have to get this money out of this rock, basically. And then I feel like there should be one person who's obviously vehemently against it, and like much like you're saying, it's like, hey, that's there for a reason. I don't want to
Yes.
fuck off the New Zealand mob or whatever the fuck is going on here. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, So whose whose money is it? Because like, I'm not sure I'm not sure if there are like too many mongrel mob guys doing deals like down in Fox Glacier. So it's probably not gonna be them.
Nah. Um, I feel like it's got to be someone coming in from out of country.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean a thing that I always think about when in regards to like New Zealand crime is
Mm.
do you know a town called Cambridge?
Only in Massachusetts or in England.
Yeah.
So,
So it's in the Waikato. It's
mm,
kind of near like Hamilton
okay.
or like Matamata where the Lord of the
Mm.
Rings stuff was shot. But it's a town which apparently is like the cocaine capital of New Zealand because there are so many like rich horse people there, and they take their horses overseas to races and then bring the horses back
Hmm.
filled with cocaine. And so that's apparently where like a lot of New Zealand's cocaine comes from, is people bringing back
Who are they,
cocaine inside their horses.
Trojans?
I mean, basically. Yeah, it's so yeah. There's always something like that going on.
I think I almost like it being. I mean, this is getting dangerously into like Fargo territory,
Sure, yeah, yeah.
where like then we cut to the criminals trying to fucking find the money. And it is like, I don't know, like I love the idea of like a mismatched sort of people bickering, like two criminals that are bickering. There's nothing better, right?
No, no.
Like,
It's great, and that's why this has to be directed by the Coen brothers. Because
absolutely.
I mean, like, did, did you see Drive Away Dolls last year?
I didn't, but it's on my list.
There, there, there are two there are two henchmen whose only job in that movie is to bicker with each other as they drive across the country, and it's some of the best movie henchmen bickering. It's so great.
Yeah, I
But
love it.
I love them as you got two guys. One of them is big, one of them is small. They're both
Hmm.
dumb, but one of them is like one of them doesn't realize how dumb he is, and like the other guy has like an inferiority complex about it, and so they both just like they
Yeah.
can't they can't let anything the other one says go.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite character dynamics.
Absolutely, because it is taking Laurel and Hardy and then making them like giving them guns. It's
Yeah,
so funny, and I
I'll
do good.
oh no, sorry, you go.
I do think that Jermaine Clement and Reese Darby would be obvious. You gotta.
Yeah, absolutely. Although, like, I mean, yeah, like, do we think that? Yeah, so do we think that they can sell the like actual like menace of it? Because I think eventually those guys have to be kind of scary, right? Like
I think.
they can be like goofy and bumbling for most of it, but there has to be some sort of like threat at the
Mm-mm.
end.
Yeah, I think. I think Jermaine has
Oh no,
like an int.
yeah, I believe he can.
Yeah, and I think Reese doesn't need to be fully menacing because I can. If someone else can like take that burden, he can be
Sure.
like, "Oh my God, what the hell?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "What did you think we're gonna do?" It's like, "What? We were just gonna ask them. He's dead," or whatever it is. Um, I think that could be quite fun, but I
Yeah.
do think as well, like you could also like get around it where the gag would be like Jermaine keeps killing these motherfuckers and Reese keeps missing it by this much. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go take a look around, and then there's this violent struggle, and then you just see Jermaine come back around the corner, not there, and then like they just move on.
I mean, that's like that's like at the start of From Dusk Till Dawn, where like they're like in that hotel, and they've like got the people held hostage, and then yeah, and then like Clooney's character has to leave the room for a second, and then when he comes back, Tarantino is just like murder that woman, and yeah, Tarantino tries to do that exact same thing, where he's just like, yeah, she was like rude to me. She was going to escape. I had to kill her, and Clooney was like, "Oh, I don't believe that for a second."
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that having them trailing them, and also like I think that's very funny to see two people who like admittedly I know can hike and whatever, but
Yeah.
like at this point are so associated with like big city culture.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
have
I would love to see Jermaine and Reese in those like big like old timey snowshoes where you just like like tape the tennis rackets to your feet. I think like yeah, them and those going up the side of the glacier. The possibilities are limitless.
I imagine a wide
Yeah,
from one side from screen left walking it's arduous, terrible. Middle of this screen, Reese just goes, "Oh, I feel like Edmund Hillary." Shut up. Continually walking. Good, cool. We got our bad guys. Now we have these five people that we don't necessarily need to cast, but if something comes up, that's great.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we have someone who really wants to keep the money, someone who really doesn't, and then three people that are like, "Woo?"
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think as much as possible we should. I think it's important to support New Zealand film and local talent. And I would say
Mhm.
one of the people who really wants to give it back should be Ray O'Leary. He is
Ah,
he didn't want to come on that hike, and he wants everything to just be left alone, and and then yeah, just that they this is none of the business. We don't need to bother with this. Actually, it was really nice back in the car. We should go back in the car.
that's really
I
good
think
casting.
he would be great in this. And
Yes.
for years, for years, we've like called Ray TV's Ray O'Leary because he he was on TV like way more than any of the rest of us in New Zealand comedy. So it was like TV's Ray O'Leary, and then at one point he was like, "I want you guys to start calling me Cinema's Ray O'Leary," and I was like, "No, you haven't been in a movie." And he said, "Yes, I was in a TV movie about Len Brown, the former mayor of Auckland. I was like fifth build in this TV movie." I said, "That's not cinema. That's a
That's a
TV movie.
it's TV.
When you're in a theatrically released movie, I will change your name in my contacts to Cinema's Ray O'Leary, and
That's
I think this would be a great opportunity for him."
I think so. That's very good. That's good on you to look out for your friend there. That's very good. Also, he would be very good about like,
Yeah.
hey, why don't we just leave it alone? Um, yeah, I like that a lot. I feel like there's got to be I don't know if they do this. I don't know how applicable this is, but I
Mm.
feel like with the severe weather, people knowing that these five people are going on this hike,
Yeah.
there should be like a search and rescue, surely, like a park
Yeah.
ranger going, "Hey, I have to find these people that are on
Sure.
government
Yes.
property, basically."
Yeah. I mean,
And
yeah. I mean, a thing that I sort of like in movies especially if we're taking this in this sort of like neo noirish direction
mm,
is the idea that like may is the idea that like maybe like Jermaine's character could be that park ranger, but he's corrupt, so he's like
mm,
so he's like working for the bad guys, but he's like acting but he like he has
mm-hmm,
this initial job, and maybe he's the guy who like lost the bag of money in the first place, and then
mm.
he has to get it back to like cover for himself, but also to like keep up his like legitimate cover.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Um, would that then make his Reese Darby and just an actual park ranger,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
justifies why they don't get on?
yes, yeah, I think so.
Okay, I like that. Because my thinking was that like the park ranger could come by and then the group of five people kill the park ranger thinking that they're a criminal and then they've just committed murder on top. But I like your idea better where it's like more you know, there's kind of a twist to it. So we got Ray O'Leary saying no thank you. I feel like I'm not so I feel like having a mixed like age group, like it's
Yeah,
almost like should it be a family outing? Or should it be friends? Like what are the relationships to each other here? Because that
yeah,
informs who gets what alliance and why.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think if I think if it's a family, it's sort of like I I think that gives like two like clearer of a hierarchy, or like the
Mm-hmm.
parents and the kids, and then
Yeah.
so like usually what the parents want is just going to happen. So I think
Mm-hmm.
making it a group of friends who are on like more equal footing like
Yeah.
means that they can like come into conflict in like more interesting ways.
Cool, 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 cool. Yeah. Um, yeah, that makes sense. I think then I feel like I feel like we should have an international couple
Yeah.
in this group
Yeah,
that
maybe they're like the most experienced hikers, and they've like come to New
Mhm.
Zealand like for this specifically.
Yes, and I think it should be gosh, what was it? Is it Ben Barnes? No, Ben something or other who was in Cuckoo this past year.
Oh, the uh the the
Let me just quick
the
look it up.
uh the guy who's playing like the bad guy in it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, not even close to Ben Barnes. Dan Stevens. I think it should be Dan
Yeah,
Stevens. Be
he's great.
and then I think that it should be Dan Stevens. And I think we should just get Hunter Schafer back in,
Yeah,
both playing German people that are
I
like, yes, we love to hike. This is why we are here. We're, we're putting
I
goals this way.
I think that would be really fun. Yeah, I really like the performances in Cuckoo, and then a lot of the rest of it, I was like, I'm not sure I'm getting this, but yeah,
Sure, yeah.
I thought those two were fantastic, and yeah, I think Dan Stevens is like so good at yeah at the sort of like menacing, at the sort of like charming, but like can switch to menacing in like an instant.
hmm I'll say this as well. Um, Number one, I love that movie, but someone who likes birds, I knew what was going to happen. Like I was just like,
Oh
I know what a
sure,
cuckoo does, so I know why
mm,
it's called cuckoo. Um, and then also Dan was good enough where I'm like, I know I've seen this motherfucker before, but I'm like, he sounds like he's German. He
yes,
doesn't sound like someone putting on an accent. He just sounds like Christoph Waltz.
yeah, well,
And I was like, that's crazy.
yeah, well, he made a movie 2 or 3 years ago. It's called I'm Your Man, which is a like
Mm,
a German sci-fi rom-com where he
mhm,
plays a but yeah, he plays a like robot who's like it's like part of the pilot program of like companion robots, but for
mhm.
this like German archaeologist, and and he plays a German character. He speaks German the entire movie, and
Yeah,
he can just speak German.
yeah, which is crazy. And his like, I was like watching it as someone who took German in high school. I was like, his pronunciation is like great. He just
Hmm.
sounds like that's fucking nuts. It was really impressive. And then
Hmm.
Hunter is so good.
Yeah.
The temptation is though, I would say two things. One, bit of an age gap there. Bit of an
Sure.
age gap. I
I mean,
think that maybe putting slotting in either Kristen Stewart or Katie O'Brien from Love Lies Bleeding would be better.
I mean, look, I I will watch Kristen Stewart in any movie. I think
Hmm
she is absolutely a favorite actress of mine. But I mean, yeah, I think that any of those three could be really good. But I mean, I I think that the like I think like playing into the age gap thing could be interesting as well, because yeah, yeah, like there's like yeah, like weird German couple where the man is clearly 15 years older than the woman, and
Yeah, that is
yeah, yeah. So there is absolutely something that like makes yeah makes them like more kind of like yeah like untrustworthy and menacing because of that.
yeah, at a certain point, you're like, did you come up to this place for this bag of money?
Yes, yeah.
I was like, no, we had no idea it was for what you're talking about. It's fine. So I like that. So we have 3 out of the 5 done. Um, Cast. And they're all kind of around that same like millennial age, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
good. Obviously, Hunter's a little younger, but um, trying to think of like I'm like I can't put Rose Matafeo in every fucking movie set in New Zealand, but I do want to see her in a bunch of stuff. She's so fun.
Yes. I mean,
Um,
I think it really makes sense that she would be someone who is like dragging Ray out on a hike. I
that's
think that really works.
true. Yeah. Like, come on, man, it's fine. It's fun to do. You got just gotta get out every once in a while. Yeah, absolutely. Um, that just leaves the one last thing person there. And part of me is like, I don't know, just slap any old motherfucker. Oh, what about this? What about someone who's like Cliff Curtis playing like the guide?
Yeah. Oh, sure.
He's like
Yeah.
not part of the friend group, so it's like a little tense as well.
Yeah. No, yeah. I, I think, I think he would be. Yeah. I think he would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, I know, like you brought me with. I think it would be good. It's like they are tangentially friends, like they're kind, but obviously he's like older than everyone else in this
Yeah.
group, and but he knows the trail the best, So he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll show you around these fucking whatever. But he's like one of those guys that's like trying to remain youthful, and I feel like there's just a moment where like he and Hunter Schafer are like these fucking millennials. They're bonding over not fitting in. Cool. We have our cast. We have our basic premise. What happens with the money? Do you think?
I mean, so I mean the I think that the trend these days is, I think, for people to get away with it in the end. Like you find that
Mm,
they're like two like most like moral people in the cast, the two most like moral characters, and then they win at the end. But I think
mhm,
like part of what I really like about classic noir is like no one wins.
yeah.
There's this sort of like larger like abstract idea of justice, and justice always like prevails, and so there's like there's there's no way, and it's because of like the Hays Code, and because this like insane Catholic morality was being imposed on all of cinema. But like I don't know, so I do have some sort of like nostalgia for like for like for that style of filmmaking. I think like that my well, one of my favorite movies of the decade so far is the Park Chan Wook movie Decision to Leave.
Mm.
Which have you seen that?
I haven't, but I've listened to the Blank Check episode
Okay,
about it.
yeah. So I'm not going to say exactly how it ends, but it ends in this way that is like it feels like it is like shattering, but it's also
Hmm.
like inevitable and weirdly like like kind of like both like moral and also like romantic but hopeless. And
Hmm.
it's this insane balancing act that he manages to pull off. And I'm not sure. I don't know if that fits with the tone we've set up. I think maybe I think this is more of a Coen Brothers ripoff than a, but
I
I don't
think I
know.
know what you're saying. I
Yeah.
think there needs to be has some sort of dramatic irony where no one gets the money,
Yes.
obviously.
Yeah.
And part of me is the two images that come into my mind are one's kind of Looney Tunes, and the other is like they're both pretty silly. One of them is they're on a bridge, they're fighting over the bag. The bag goes in the water. It's
Mm.
like a mid shot. They both are staring at each other, and then you just see Jermaine like jump between the two of them to get to the money
Mm.
out of the river, and he dies.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
the
I was thinking something very similar, but with a like a crevasse in in the ice.
Yes, I think that's very good as well. Um, so there's okay, now there's another element here at play, but the other one is someone getting struck by lightning holding it and just burning up, which I think could be quite funny. But I almost like the element of like, what if it's all three? What if this
Mm.
happens three times and like the guy jumps off, goes, I got the money, and then it immediately falls into a giant crevasse. He jumps in after it, he finally climbs out, and then he gets exploded by God. Like he gets hit by lightning, and then it just like cuts to a wide again, and all five of them are like, not even a cloud in the sky. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, an Iris and Porky Pig comes out and says, "That's all, folks."
Exactly. So you get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of that? Or do you want it to be like hauntingly beautiful and like
Oh, I
devastating?
mean,
Or do you want someone hit by lightning?
look, I think not enough people get hit by lightning in movies, and I like I like where your brain's at on this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Cool. Then what do after the money's just gone, which is also makes it so funny because they've been fighting over this stuff. People have been
No,
tense. They admit things that they've
exactly. Yeah,
always felt about the friend group and all of this stuff, blah 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 blah.
yeah,
And then it just doesn't matter.
yeah. None of these people will ever be the same again, and for nothing.
I think lightning happens, burned up. It just cuts to Rhea literally going, should have stayed in the car. Should have stayed in the car. That kind of thing. Does it just end with that?
You
Or
know,
do we have like an epilogue?
no, I mean, yeah, I think one of the great things that old movies did was just they just ended. You know,
Right?
there's no,
Jaws just ends.
yes, yeah, there's no fucking around. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I like,
Cool.
yeah, I like the idea of yeah, just ending on a close up of Ray looking forlorn. Like that's what cinema is.
That's so good. I think should he say should have stayed in the car, or he should have said, no, I understand. I want that money. It's like could have bought a lot of stuff. Um, is there anything else in between these beats that you want to flesh out more before we like wrap it up here?
Let's see. I mean, you sort of alluded to it, but yeah, I think there's always they're like yeah they're like one night where everyone is trapped together and all the secrets come out. I think
Hmm.
that's always a really fun part of these movies, uh, and yeah, like obviously I think that like yeah that scene like leads to the breakdown of the Dan Stevens Hunter Schafer relationship, which then
Hmm.
causes both of them to like seek new alliances, and like
Hmm.
maybe like Dan like yeah like go like yeah maybe like Dan tries to like split off on his own, and he gets like caught out by Jermaine, and then like Hunter is like with the rest of the group, and so she ends up being safe, and and then we can be like, well, the the older guy managed to get relationship got killed, so we're actually it's actually cool that it was in the movie.
Sure.
Yeah,
This somehow justifies it.
yeah,
Some sort of moral. I think the thing that could cause them, and this might be in bad taste. It's not. It's not the worst thing, but it might be in bad taste. The thing that causes them to split up is that Dan Stevens is lying about his age. He's actually like 50. He just looks incredible. And so the gap is even like wider because in the way they find that out is like I don't know how old Cliff Curtis is now, but he's like in his 50s, right? He's
yeah,
like
yeah,
40s.
yeah.
And
I'd
they
say
have
he's in his 50s.
yeah, some shared event.
Hmm.
They go, "Oh yeah, I was blah blah blah," and he says it without thinking.
Right. Yeah.
And then it just spirals out from there.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course there's this, mhm.
Yeah. They both remember where they were when the Challenger blew up.
Yeah, sure. And then that leads them to like have a huge fight, and then Cliff Curtis excuses himself immediately because he's like, "This is not my fucking problem. I'm just here as like a guide." And then I think that then Cliff and Rose go out for a cigarette in the rain, like under a shelter in the
Yeah.
rain, and then it just like it just pans over from Hunter and Dan yelling at each other to just Ray sitting there by himself.
Right. Yeah,
uh,
yeah. It's all yeah. It's like through the windows of the cabin, so it's like silent. But yeah, you just see them like going at each other.
and it's
Yeah.
just like Ray's just like pulls out like a I don't know like a sandwich or something. It's
I,
just like
I was gonna say Nintendo Switch, but yeah, sure. So
that's
I
also
think
very good. That's very good. I think what okay, running gag, he keeps pulling out different
yeah.
portable video games. Like at a certain point, uh, Rose is trying to talk to him, and she goes, "Are you playing a PSP right now? Where the hell did you even get that?" Slaps it out of his hand, and then he pulls out another one.
There's a there's a so there's a uh, 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 Ray used to be flatmates with a woman called Savannah, who's also a very funny comedian, and she was in a band with a friend of ours called Jimmy, and yeah, there's this punk band called Coffin Club, and there's one time that they're playing a battle of the bands, and they thought it'd be really funny to have. To list Ray as one of the members of a band and then have him on stage just playing Switch the whole time. And so they're up on stage, they're playing this like really like loud, noisy punk, and then Ray is just standing there face down, just playing. I think probably Legend of Zelda on the Switch. And it was a really funny gag to me and them. And then there was a review of the show the next day where someone was just like completely baffled as to why this man was standing on the stage and like, did someone just go up from the audience? I don't know what was going on there. Why was he on the stage?
That's really good. Oh, that's really a good bit. Oh, great. Cool. Anything else before we move on to the lightning round?
Uh, no, I think that sounds like a pretty serviceable Coen Brothers ripoff.
I think so too. I mean, it is kind of a ripoff, but it's also a genre. I mean, I would
Oh,
say it's an
sure.
homage to 90s crime comedies.
Yes, yeah,
Because it's not just Coen Brothers that did that, but they definitely like were at the forefront.
yeah.
But yeah, to be sure, because there's Simple Plan, there's Fargo, there's like Danny Boyle. What is it called again?
The Danny Boyle one is oh not
Yeah, it's fine.
not in my brain.
Yeah, I will look it up right now. Or are you doing that?
I think I'm doing it. Danny Boyle.
The pipes, the pipes.
Shallow Grave.
Thank you, Shallow Grave. So like, it's in that long line of,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Maybe all those like post Tarantino, yeah,
Mhm.
so like crime comedy things, which were mostly terrible and
That's true. I will say they seem to be kind of having a resurgence, by which I mean Love Lies Bleeding came out.
yeah,
Which is my favorite of this last year.
yeah.
Um
I that moment right at the end when she gets huge. I was
love it
like,
so much.
this is the craziest swing I've seen someone take in a movie, and I think she's pretty much landing it. This is amazing.
I almost stood up in my
Oh yeah,
chair and started clapping. It was crazy. And someone was like, "Well, what is that about?" I'm like, "She gets big." And she's like, "Well,
yeah.
what does that mean?" She gets
She
big. It's
she
like, "What does
she.
that mean?" I'm like,
Well,
"It
she's been trying to get
means,"
big for the whole movie, and now she's big.
and she's big, and also it means don't worry about it. Whatever
Yes,
action sequence they could have shown us that was grounded in reality would be more boring than what if she got really big.
and she crushed Ed Harris's little body.
It's a fucking great movie. Anyway, it's also this is an excellent entry in the genre from Blank Check of Ben thinks he would get away with it.
Oh, sure, yes, yeah.
Yeah. Which, is fair enough. So the lightning round, we get the same prompt. We do a little one each, starting with progress. For me, progress is about a band from Amsterdam who keeps causing incidents at the clubs they're playing at and getting arrested. And it's Prague arrested. Really a huge stretch there. um, what is your progress film?
All right. Progress. It's a charming. It's a charming like charming romantic dramedy short about a man getting glasses which change when he goes outside. He gets some progressive lenses and he falls in love with a nice lady. Isn't it cute?
I think that's really good that he can't see clearly. Much like
Yeah,
David Lynch in Twin Peaks, he can't see clearly until he meets the person he's meant to be with.
absolutely.
See, that's great. You got there. It's all good. Okay, so the next one is Qualify. For me, Qualify is about a high school debate team just going so hard for no reason, trying to get to state. they're way too like I'm
J-
waiting for
j- just,
Duffman
j-
mockumentary. Hmm?
right, yeah. Just like vicious debaters.
Yes, and they're so mean to each other and everyone, and their poor debate teacher, played by Tim Meadows, is just fucking trying to wrangle these fucking kids, and it turns out that one of them, 26, not even a teen, and they get disqualified. That's that's my movie.
Okay, qualify. Uh, yeah, I was also thinking like I was thinking along similar lines of high school band. You
Hmm.
know, going for a battle of a bands type thing, but there's there's a huge scandal when one of them gets accused of taking performance enhancing drugs, i.e., weed, and
Yes.
yeah, but this band only has 24 hours to find a new marimba player to be able to get into the battle of the bands.
And that marimba player, Tim Meadows.
he he would be very funny playing a marimba.
He, I'll say it, might be the funniest actor alive.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
love him.
he's very good.
He's very good. I recently, a couple years ago, I should say, rewatched Ladies Man. Fuck, he's funny. Not appropriate a film, obviously, by
Uh,
today's standards, because the
what what
character's so terrible.
which one's that?
It's like a send up of like black exploitation films,
Oh, okay.
and like Billy D. Williams plays the
Oh,
bartender, and
does he have a really big afro on the cover?
yes, and he
Okay,
like used
I've
to work at a radio station, then he gets fired, and
right. I've seen that DVD cover. I think many times during my childhood. I don't think I ever watched it.
I'll say this, at least to me 2 years ago, funny. I think we got one more,
All right.
and it's Trust E. Trust E. Um, this movie is about embezzling, but it's set in the 90s. It's about embezzling of it's a crime drama, white collar crime drama set in the 90s about eBay. And the mantra of the guy who's just like, no, 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 don't worry, I got this, who's like swindling everybody,
Hmm.
played effortlessly by Matthew McConaughey. Goes, you just got a trustee. Yeah, just got a trustee. You know what I mean?
So I'm thinking this is a set in the early 30s,
Hmm.
stock market crash, sort of an It's a Wonderful Life type thing, except there's no supernatural intervention, and doesn't turn out great. This is just a guy in a small town. Yeah, the stock market goes to shit, and suddenly the money of everyone in town is just gone, and he has to try and deal with it, and the town has to try and get back on its feet, uh, in really really tough times.
I like that a lot. It's very good. It's I like that a lot. Very good. Um, well, we've reached the end of the podcast. Is there anything you'd like people to know about you? Do you have anything to plug? Whatever.
Oh
Yeah.
look, I'm on Twitter.
Look.
It's a terrible dying website that I've been on for 15 years and will never leave. You could follow me there, I guess, at Nicolas, Fickleas, which is an attempted pun which didn't really work. And you know, I'm on Letterboxd where I post very occasionally at Fickleas, Ficolas, completely different spelling, and I have
Look.
a I have a dormant podcast with my friend Yu Dean called Shite and Sound, where every week we watch a movie from the Sight and Sound top 100 list and pair it with a bad movie. We got most of the way to finishing that. There's 100 and something episodes of that out there, and
Incredible.
I have an idea for another podcast, which unlikely I'll follow through on, but I'm just going to put it out there. Uh, from the mid 1930s to the late 1940s, there was a series of B westerns called Hop Along Cassidy. So
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah, so they made 66 of these movies in 12 years, all starring this guy William Boyd, and there's a DVD box set available, and so I'm going to try and do a podcast where I watch every Hopalong Cassidy movie in order and yeah, just talk about 30s and 40s B westerns and the like weird panoply of like supporting actors. Like one of them, like yeah, there's like a couple in a row which have Robert Mitchum as a supporting actor, and there was like
Uh-huh.
his like first like three movies were just as like a random bad guy in a Hopalong Cassidy movie, and then like 2 years later he was like one of Hollywood's biggest stars. So
That's
yeah,
great.
so stuff like that. Yeah, I think like B westerns are really fascinating, and yeah, so it's going to be called Pod Along Cassidy.
Excellent.
So yeah, I'll hopefully be doing that sometime.
Monologue Cassidy. It's really good. I would listen to that. That sounds like an excellent premise. I'm speaking to now you, the listener. You can support this podcast by going to tristanmiller.substack.com and subscribing there. There's movie reviews, a bonus podcast called Movies to Fall Asleep To, where I talk to people about their comfort films, as well as the video and early access to these episodes. Also, if you're already subscribed, consider upgrading to the paid tier. I'm currently a full-time content creator, aka broke as shit. Help a brother out. And then now I say to you, Finn, this is so much fun. Thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Yeah,
And
thanks for having me. Had a great time.
good, I'm glad. I'll talk to you again very soon.
Yeah,
Thank you again.
right.